Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV. It's 2022. Copper is hot and Kutcho Copper is even hotter. We want to talk to Vince Sorace for an update with the CEO of the company. Hey, good morning to Canada. How are you? And Happy New Year, of course.
Good morning, Jochen. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great for taking the time. Thank you very much. I mean, copper is hot. That is really undoubtable. We are already scratching the $4.50 per pound. Even better for Kutcho Copper that you brought out just last quarter a fantastic feasibility study. Please comment on that a bit.
Yeah, we were working at that hard for the better part of most of 2021, and we were very happy with the results. It's definitely a robust project. Economics are fantastic, especially in this environment, with lots of upside still on this. And we're very confident that this is now moving its way to a construction decision. So just I guess some highlights that people may have seen. At 350 copper, that's where we priced the feasibility study at. It showed after-tax NPV of 460 million and a 25% IRR. But I think the more prevalent number, where analyst consensus these days is at $4 copper, and going to be moving a lot higher. At that price, we show a $613 million after-tax IRR and a 30%, a $613 million after-tax NPV and a 30% IRR at $4 copper. At 450, much higher as well. So definitely leverage to the copper price, and again, a very robust project.
Absolutely. No, I see it the same way, definitely. I saw that you have Wheaton Precious Metals also as a partner, and they committed for, let's say, altogether $100 million of financing. So the Capex, if I'm correct in your presentation, was $483 million. So there is still a bit of a gap. How do you want to do that? Any plans already that you can discuss with us?
Well, I mean, the 483, we're already looking at. I think we're pretty conservative in that number. We're already looking at ways where we can drop that number through different and more detailed engineering processes with ore sorting. We're looking at some strategic opportunities with respect to the road. So we're already looking at ways to drop that number just in itself. Then yes, I mean, the Wheaton package as it stands is going to contribute a big part of that because of the stream. Then with some of the activities we did last year, especially with respect to the royalty buyback and the rover removed from the offtake, that leaves us opportunity now to do a strategic deal with an offtaker, which could represent something up to another $100 million in capital contribution. Or available funds for capital contribution. So suddenly that capital number becomes, a lot lower, and it's very financeable against the metrics of the project. And that's something that we'll look at, for a good debt portion, as any project would typically take on. And that's something we'll look at a couple of years down the road. But I think, it's in a very good position with respect to being able to finance this project through production.
Absolutely. And you're starting with an open pit, going then, you're moving on then to an underground. So can you finance the underground probably through the open pit?
The numbers are all encompassing with respect to the capital that we need. So that's all part of the sequence. It's all in there. And whatever, capital is coming in through the open pit. That all kind of reflects itself through sustaining capital moving through the project.
Okay, super. I saw also that you are dealing with the First Nations, the Tahltan and the Cascadena. And as far as I know, to my, let's say, small knowledge here from British Columbia, they are also quite favorable pro-mining, and they love mining, of course, and they are also doing sometimes deals with the mining companies. Like, for example, I think Tahltan Nations are also providing power, as far as I know, to several companies. Do you think you can also do a nice deal with them? Because I could imagine you have quite good relationship, right?
The relationships with both our nations, Casca and Tahltan, are fantastic. I think that's been evidenced through previous press releases and through my corporate update that we just put out, we're already moving through IBA and SEPA. Those are the Economic Participation Agreement negotiations. Hoping to have those wrapped up mid-year this year. That is a big blessing for the project. So we're working with them, very well. As you said, they're very pro-mining. The Kutcho project is something that they see as favorable. And any future negotiations or opportunities that we can explore with them, as you mentioned, that will come in the future. But one step at a time. I think we want to, the big key here is to get our economic participation agreements done, again, which is a big blessing for this project. Completion.
Okay, super. Fantastic. As far as I know, you have quite already a good infrastructure around it. Any upgrades you have to do before you go in production? And is also, let's say, the state of British Columbia, helping here with some better roads? I don't know, larger roads, longer roads.
We've got it's pretty benign territory. We're in a valley, so there's not a lot of hills or mountains we got to cut through. Really, the biggest outside of construction of the facility is we will be upgrading. There's an existing trail road there that leads right from the highway onto site, and that road will just be upgraded to a haul road. So there's no real big magic or no big real risk here that we're foreseeing for construction and development of the project.
Okay, super. Great. If you look, for example, at your peer group for copper developers, with your feasibility study, I think you have a lot of re-rate potential, right?
I think we have tremendous re-rate potential. I think we're trading exceptionally cheap right now for this stage of project, with the numbers that we're showing, and especially with the numbers we showed at the existing copper prices. So. Yes, I think, and the other one is I think Kutcho is just one of the better projects out there, given jurisdiction, given economics. I think there's lots of upside potential.
Okay, super. Given the development timeline, when do you think you will have the construction decision, and when do you think you could start really production then?
Well, we're looking at opportunities through these timelines right now. We're going to move very quickly into a process here this year, and go through that process. So, realistically, a fully permitted, shovel-ready project, we're aiming for two and a half years, I'd say, from now, and then construction, et cetera, to get us up and running. So. In the scope of things, again, I point to, not too many projects out there right now that are this, close to, a production decision and ultimately production.
Absolutely. Where do you see then, let's say also for the future, the upside potential for Kutcho Copper? Because this is now like I would call it pit constrained resource. Yeah, we talk about one open pit, but you have the underground, you have the Sumac, the Esso coming into the place. So where do you see the future upside potential here?
We're pretty confident that there is very good upside potential, and that's what we want to do now. This year and the coming years is now that we've got the path forward with the feasibility study and going through permitting. Now we want to see what we could do with respect to increasing the size of the project, and we know there's lots of low-hanging fruit there around the existing resource. There's potential there to convert inferred for the underground. There's potential to convert inferred in the open pit and potentially expand the size of the open pit. There's, let's not forget, we've got the Sumac lens, which is around 10 million tons. I think at about a 1.5% copper equivalent. None of that is in these economics. None of it. So, there's lots of potential with respect to Sumac. To add that into the project and the value of the project. So, that all exists, and that would basically be, mine life extension We think we can easily achieve, maybe another 4 or 5 years here on mine life, low-hanging fruit. And then, of course, we've got all the greenfields potential. This property position and that sulfide horizon repeats itself multiple times throughout our entire property position, hasn't seen any modern day exploration since 1990. And, we know that these VMS districts around the world, typically you end up finding more. They typically just get so lots of exciting opportunity coming, I think, with respect to exploration.
Okay, super. Then let's have a short look on 2022. What are immediate steps, let's say, in the first half year coming up? And what are, let's say, if you would look onto the whole year, what are the most important things you want to achieve this year?
Well, I think, as we just discussed, exploration on both some of the greenfields and near resource targets. As I spoke earlier, I think completing the economic participation agreements with the nations is a big de-risk and milestone for the company as well. There's and continuing to move through permitting. And as we continue to move through permitting in this time, as the project continues to get de-risked, the valuations should continue to go higher. That would be the natural progression of this. Given where the project's at right now at a feasibility study level, we are going to be, we have been and will continue to be, and I'm pretty confident we'll be able to do some very accretive strategic transactions with the company. I do believe it's a sought after project, and I think we'll be attracting a lot of interest around this project now that, again, we de-risked it through feasibility.
Super. So no transition year, I would say a very active year.
Yes.
Definitely.
I think it's going to.
Okay, super, perfect. Thank you very much, Vince, for the update. And I would suggest we talk quite soon after the next news. There's a lot to discuss. Even I'm pretty sure. Oh, maybe one thing what I forgot. What is your personal view on the copper price?
Everything, I don't want to profess to be an analyst, but obviously I do keep up on it quite frequently. And it's just, everything looks to be pointing to this copper price just going higher. The whole green revolution, it's not going away. I mean, we are just going to continue to pick up pace and pick up speed with respect to the entire demand side on copper, which, includes everything that everybody knows, like, the electric vehicle market, but also, everybody's push to decarbonization, the requirements for, more renewables and everything out there. It's just, we aren't finding these big copper deposits anymore, and none of and permitting requirements for these big copper deposits, they're taking 20 years for them to kind of go from discovery to operation. So it just continues to point to a very aggressive demand side, which I think is just going to continue to drive copper prices higher over the coming years.
Definitely. Do you want to give us a number? What's your guess? By 2025?
By 2025,
minus $7, I can tell you, per pound.
I think the first thing that came to my mind was, I could easily see this thing moving through $6 close to your target. Yeah, by 2025, I think that's possible.
Super, perfect. All right, Vince. Thank you very much for the update. All the best, and talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Vince Sorace, the CEO of Kutcho Copper. Yeah, you heard it. Fantastic feasibility study done at only $3.50 per pound of copper. We are today already at $4.40, $4.50, and you see it in the presentation of the company. Also, what that means for NPV, for the IRR. This all looks really fantastic. The company is pretty active and a lot going on. Wheaton Precious Metals as a partner. They put $100 million into this project, and also they got rid of this ROFR with Sumitomo. So that is also fantastic. So now they are free really to do offtake agreements and go forward. I would suggest this is one of the cheapest copper investments you can have, with a fantastic project in British Columbia, in good old Canada. You really should check out this fantastic company. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.